Hi friends. At this point, everyone has seen the epic Kingdom Come 2 release trailer video, right? A lot was revealed to us in that video, more than any typical game reveal, which I wholeheartedly appreciate. But I still have some questions, and I'm sure you guys do too. So in this video, I'm going to answer some additional very important questions about the game that I bet you guys are also wondering. We're going to talk about the updated combat system, the addition of guns, changes to the controversial save system, and the brand new crime system, and more. Where the heck did I get this very valuable secret information? Well, it's not that secret. Luckily for us, there is a fantastic interview video done by a Czech YouTuber called Indian. The host interviewed the lead designer of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Prokop Jirsa, who I will be referring to from here on out as PJ, because otherwise I will literally butcher his name to Kingdom Come. See what I did there? The video is not in English, so this is my best attempt at relaying what I think is the most important info from the interview in a compact and easy to digest form for you guys. The full interview, though, is linked in the description if you want to go and watch that too. Also, as a side note, yes, I'm still sick. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. I know. Sorry, this video needs to be made. So, first of all, PJ pretty much confirmed that the intentions for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 are to make the game a continuation of the first game, but bigger and more polished and better in every possible way. They want to surprise us with exciting new features and updated mechanics, but they also want us to feel comfy and cozy in a world that we already know and love. It's just leveled up. As Daniel Vavra said in the reveal trailer, they are making KCD2 into the game they always wanted the first one to be, because now they have the budget and the people to actually do that. The intent is also to obviously make the game appeal to a wider audience. It's a great time to be a KCD fan, but this news also sparks some questions and some concerns. I think the biggest concern is really the question of, will the game be dumbed down? Because sometimes when making a game appeal to a bigger audience, there are worries that the game might become too dumbed down or simplified, which could cause the game to lose some of its magic, its realism, and its immersion, which is so important to Kingdom Come Deliverance. So, is it dumbed down? PJ says that complicated systems like the combat system are still complex and similar to the first game, but in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, they are aiming to make them easier to pick up, easier to learn. The game will be friendlier to newbies and people who have never played the first game. He assures us that combat is still just as deep as it was, and people that want to master it will have lots of new ways to do so. He also assures us that the game is not easy. It's still a tough RPG like the first game, but the systems in the game are just more accessible and packaged in a better way for more people to get the chance to enjoy them. A lot of people, including myself, are wondering about the combat system specifically. One thing that the devs learned from watching us play the first game was that many people found the 5-directional thing in the first game when attacking a bit overwhelming, and the combo moves were a bit tough to pull off sometimes. So the dueling system in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has been simplified and sort of tightened up a bit to allow us to feel like we have much better control in combat. And although the dueling system has been somewhat simplified, combat has also been expanded in other ways. There are loads and loads of perks and skills to invest in as Henry levels up in proper RPG fashion, which will really make all the hardcore RPG nerds happy. I think overall this is a good thing. I actually do agree about this point about the combat system. It's not that I didn't enjoy it in the first game, but you know, thinking back, it really was a bit clunky at times. So I think this will be a welcome change in just making the whole system work better and more smoothly in general. Now, they've also given us many opportunities to avoid combat or approach problems and solve quests in multiple different ways. For example, if someone really wants to just play for the story and nothing else, they can do that and avoid most of the conflict by talking their way out of a situation. And the opposite is true for the player that loves combat and the old school RPG mechanics that were such a big deal in the first game. That option is still there too. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is going to be a big open RPG with many choices and many ways to play. It's so exciting, you guys. They added guns! If you're worried that the addition of medieval firearms isn't lore friendly, don't worry. Everything about KCD2 is historically accurate, just like the first game, and it seems that it is still one of Warhorse's top priorities. It sounds like the guns will not be a main aspect of the combat system, but instead a little spicy topping on top of the rest of the combat system. Firearms were obviously just being discovered at this time in history and are very new to the people of Bohemia, and this is true in the game as well. So we may be using them to maybe scare people away or just as a form of intimidation. Not everyone has them, and we won't be finding them literally scattered around everywhere in the world in every bandit camp. So that's somewhat of a relief to me, at least. But apparently there is even a side quest in the game that teaches us all about this. I really do think that this is a cool way to implement firearms, and I also see some potential for maybe some exciting DLC in the future if players end up liking them. The crime system! One of the things I am really happy to see is the new crime system, with even more punishments. Wait, maybe that's gonna be a bad thing for me and evil Henry. So first, if you do something naughty, you will get a simple fine. Then if you're caught again, you get jail time. And if you continue to be a very bad boy and get caught enough, you get branded. Ouch, we saw a little clip of that in the trailer. Additionally, until the brand is healed, you will have negative stats or a debuff on Henry. But even if it is healed, the scar will still have some effects on Henry forever. I am just speculating here, but it kind of sounded like in the interview that PJ meant the brand scar could have negative and positive effects on Henry. So maybe there is some secret thieves guild of sorts that we can join, or some weird underground cult that we can do jobs for. I don't know. You know, if we're a bad boy, just a guess. But wouldn't that be fun? Evil Henry hype, everybody! Or at least very angry, irresponsible Henry hype. There we go. Anyway, that is just so cool. I love this kind of thing in RPG. When my choices actually change the game permanently, it feels like my playthrough is unique and it feels like what I did matters. So moving on. How does story progression work with the bigger open world, you might wonder? Well, PJ says we can expect that to function similarly to the first game. There is still a big or even bigger epic storyline to progress through, which will change some of the world as the story goes along, just like Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. But there are more things to do in the open world alongside the main quest than the first game. The world is also much bigger, and there are so many more side quests and fun things to find that will make it feel like a much bigger adventure. Something that was so magical and important to me in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 was the ability to run around in the wild and just enjoy the beautiful forests and countrysides without being attacked by goblins and wolves and bandits every 2 seconds. It was something so different from every other open world RPG in existence. I cannot tell you how happy I am to report that this mentality is still a huge priority for Warhorse, and that has not changed in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. They are not afraid to let us wander around aimlessly in their beautiful handcrafted wilderness, just picking flowers and having a somewhat realistic experience. They are not afraid of players getting bored like other developers are, because they are just very confident in the amount of content in the game, and immersion is a huge part of why KCD is the most unique and immersive medieval RPG experience you will ever have. Even in the city cities and the little villages. The buildings are placed in realistic locations. For example, you won't see an inn with a bandit camp right behind it because that just doesn't make sense in reality. Oftentimes in video games, content is sort of squished together in the world to make it feel less boring for the player. But not in the case of KCD2. Things may be more spaced out than players are used to in other games, but this is all part of what makes the world feel like a real place. If you played the first game, you know exactly the feeling that I am referring to, and you will absolutely be glad that this is again in the second game. And if you haven't played the first game yet, do yourself a favor and try it out now. You will be amazed at what Warhorse can create. The link to the game is down in the description below. With all this talk about the open world and the exploration, you're probably wondering about side quests. I know I am. So again, realism. Every quest is unique in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. You won't find a bunch of NPCs asking you to get 5 wolf pelts, or another one asking you to collect 20 sticks to help them make a super cool hat for literally no reason. Although a stick hat would be kind of cool. All the quests are designed to feel like they are worth your time and all have something cool and new that you'll be excited to check out. I feel like the first game was mostly like this, but it definitely had a few filler quests here and there, which I didn't really mind at all because I'm used to old games that are littered with those, but it's nice to hear that KCD2 will be even more special and expertly designed in the questing department. Thumbs up. Now, it seems that the biggest question that everyone has is about the contradictory save system. In Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, we needed to buy or craft a yummy drink called Savior Schnapps in order to manually save our game. This is a consumable item that you'll always need to make sure you have some of if you go out exploring, or you'll not be able to save your progress whenever you wish. If you don't have any schnapps, you'll need to rest in a bed or take a nap in order to trigger an autosave, or get a story-based autosave somehow. And some people love that system, and some people hated the limitation. So what are they doing in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? Well, if you are one of the people that love the save system, then Warhorse is about to make your day again. Savior Schnapps is still a thing, but they did not ignore all the whiners. Sorry, guys. So if you were one of those people who downloaded the save mod, don't worry because there are a lot more autosave spots in the game and more resources available to find or make more Savior Schnapps. So there is very little chance that players will ever run into an issue of losing a lot of progress without saving. And that's even if you forget to use your schnapps. This should make it a less frustrating experience for everyone. Plus, I'm sure there'll just be a mod out immediately after release anyway, so you guys will be fine. Now, personally, I liked the save system from Kingdom Come 1, and I did not need to download the mod, but I'm also hardcore like that, and I love to be punished for my poor decisions. I know a lot of people don't want to have to worry about saving their game as a gameplay mechanic, and that's perfectly reasonable too. The reason for the save mechanic, by the way, if you're wondering, is to create a feeling of risk with decisions you make during the game. If you can't just save and load every time you do something stupid, then you're not ever going to think about any of the decisions that you make, right? On the other hand, if you have one schnapps left and you wanted to save it for something else, but you come across an item that maybe you want to try to steal, or a bandit camp that you want to try attacking, but you're unsure of the outcome, you might think twice before attempting it. This changes the gameplay experience a ton, even if you don't realize it. To me, the game loses a lot of its immersion and excitement without this save system. But again, you do you, boo. Another question people have is, are there kids in the game? PJ says, no, there are no children in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, but not really for the reasons that you'd think. Yes, there are always the obvious reasons for not including kids in video games, especially in open world games with lots of player freedom, if you know what I mean. But Warhorse actually did have the option on the table at one point and decided against it because it would just be way too much work. If they did include kids, they would have to do it perfectly and make them extremely realistic, which would have required an entire team of developers to just devote all of their efforts to the creation of the children in the game. And in PJ's words, we're not Rockstar yet. So maybe this means that in future Warhorse titles, we might be getting some kids wandering around. Who knows? But can you play as another character? Do I have to be Henry? Can I play as a woman? If you were around for the release of Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, you might remember the pushback from the gaming community about not being able to play as a lady. From what I remember, this was mostly during the beta release time, when we had placeholder Henry, but once his character became more fleshed out, people soon realized that it wasn't as important. But just in case you guys are wondering, it's just like the first game. We play as Henry and you do not customize him at the start, as far as we know. You are thrown in and then you shape Henry in any direction that you choose as you progress throughout the game. You make choices in the story and in quests, and you level up your skills. Now, obviously, this could change. I mean, in the first game, we got a DLC where we could play as Teresa, so who knows? But as it stands, all we know is that we're just playing as Henry like in the first game. It's a continuation of the first game, so it makes perfect sense that we just play as Henry, right? Okay, so during the interview, most of PJ's answers were somewhere along the lines of, it's pretty much like Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, but better and expanded upon. So it seems if you have any other questions about the game, at this point, that is a pretty safe assumption to make about almost everything else. At least that's what I'm going with until we get more information from Warhorse about this amazing and beautiful new game. I cannot wait to play it for you guys. Thank you so much for your eyeballs today. Bye-bye.